Maybe too soon to start talking about rebuilding. It is not too soon for people to start talking about accountability. A lot of people are asking questions right now as to whether more could have been done to spare the lodge and spare the cabins and other infrastructure from the fire when it moved through Friday into Saturday. A lot of the blame game already getting underway right now. Jason Berry's covering that side of the story for us from our newsroom. Jason, a lot of people, especially on social media, very quick to point the finger this weekend at the Park Service and the way this fire was initially handled.
Yeah, Jared, we see it all the time. Whenever there's a flood or a wildfire, people are quick to place blame and say something could have been done to prevent it, and that's exactly what's happening here. Even Governor Hobbs is waving a red flag, saying the federal government chose to manage that fire as a controlled burn during the driest, hottest part of the Arizona summer. The National Park Service is defending how this fire was handled, but there are a number of environmental groups saying this wildfire was not managed correctly, and that's what led to all the destruction along the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Today, I spoke to the deputy director of the nonprofit Center for Western Priorities, a conservation group that focuses on protecting public lands. He said, we've got to find out whether funding and staffing cuts at the federal agencies that handle wildfires played a role in the number of firefighters available to get the Dragon Bravo fire under control.
Those are definitely the right questions to be asking. It's too early to know if these cuts and firings directly contributed to the loss of Grand Canyon Lodge, but it's very important to find out. This is the start of wildfire season. It's only going to get worse from here. So I think there is a need for a long-term big investigation, but also a very short-term what went wrong and how can we prevent that from happening again.
I also spoke to a number of current and former wildland firefighters to get their take on what happened to the Grand Canyon and whether someone should be held accountable for not keeping the blaze in check, especially after it was treated as a controlled burn. But the firefighters I spoke to today said we can't play Monday morning quarterback, and it's not fair to start pointing fingers. They said it's not unusual for a small fire to suddenly take off and get out of control, especially in Arizona where it's so dry and hot.
I'm going to assume that whoever was in charge of managing that fire or responding to that fire made the best decisions that they could make with the resources, time, and intent that they were given in regard to that fire. Unfortunately, these things do happen. They would happen regardless of however many firefighters were on the line or who was responsible.
Now, last month, the U.S. Secretary of Interior Doug Burgum appeared before Congress and was asked how many certified wildfire employees have left the agency through firings or buyouts. He did not have an answer. Live in the newsroom, Jason Berry for Arizona's Family.